Woohoo! We made it. It is the last day of the Acacia crossbody bag sew along. Today we will be attaching our interior to our exterior, turning the bag, top stitching. If you have not got your magnetic snap, if you did a turn lock instead, you can install that as well. And then we will be attaching the hardware to our strap, and then we will be all done. When I join an interior to an exterior, I like to have the exterior turned the right way out and the interior facing in. Not everybody does it that way. I find that the exterior gets less crumpled if I do it like that. So that is why I do it the way that I do. So the zipper pocket is the back of your bag. Make sure that it is open at the bottom, as that is how we'll turn it. And make sure that your zipper is open as well. Otherwise, you're going to have to stick your hand inside and try to unzip that zipper. What we're going to do is pop the exterior inside the exterior, keeping our flap tucked out of the way. Clip around or pin around, if you don't use clips, the top. And then we are going to go over to the machine and sew that up. So tuck your exterior inside like this. You want to line up your side seams, keeping that flap tucked out of the way. Got some threads here I need to snip still. So you want to line up your seams on your gusset with the seams on your exterior. I also like to fold my D-ring there down out of the way. Just gives you a bigger workspace. When you are doing your side seams, you can either push it to opposite sides or you can open them out flat and do it that way, whatever your preference is. And then we're going to clip around the entire exterior of the bag. I like to do my seams first. To make sure that they're lined up really nicely. I used canvas for my lining. It frays a little. I will use pinking shears the same way as I've done around here before I turn it along the top to make sure that it doesn't fray after the bag is finished. But the top stitching helps with that too. Just lining up my corners, my seams there at the side, opening these out, as you can see there. So it'll get kind of bulky when we're top stitching over that. Then lining up my edges here. Try to keep the lining flush with the exterior. The lining may be a little tighter, so just pull it up to get that nice line there. Making sure your zipper pocket is out of the way. Clipping around. And then we will head over to the machine and we're sewing just around the whole top here. So I'm going to go and do that now. If there's any bits that you aren't happy with after you finish sewing around, like if you can see here that it kind of went off the straight line there, you can just go back and sew over that again. just to get it so that when you turn it out, you'll have a nice flat top seam of your bag. Now what I'm going to do is just trim the top of the bag with my pinking shears, and then we will birth the bag through this pocket. Now that your bag is turned out, you want to check all of your seams and make sure that there's no threads anywhere that you've missed. Make sure that everything is all sewn together nicely. I like to leave the pocket hanging out here. We need to close that up. Now, you could, if you wanted to, before you close that up, tuck your lining inside just to check that you're happy with everything before you close the last part of the bag. I like to tuck this in like so. This is a fairly long pocket, so you have a decent amount of seam allowance there to turn it in. So mine is about 3/4 of an inch, and then I just fold it at the side seams. Any threads that are there, you can get those off. Fold it like so, and then tuck, make sure it's all tucked in. Flip the bag out of the way. Then you can press or seam roll that, clip it closed, and then I'm just going to sew straight down the bottom there and then tuck that in. And you can just thread these long tails in and then tuck your pocket in, and then we will be ready to tuck our lining in and top stitch our bag. So now we're going to tuck our lining into our exterior like so. Tuck it down into the bottom. Then we are going to roll our seam out here at the top. Like this, and then I like to clip around the top here, especially these bulkier bits here. Press that down as best you can. When we get over to the machine, you may need to use a hump jumper or a little piece of cardboard or something behind your presser foot just to help you get over that bulkier seam there. That's going to be one of the more challenging parts if you are using a domestic machine. So just take it nice and slowly, hand crank it if you need to. If it does skip a stitch, don't panic. You can either go back, pull your threads nice and long, and then restart, or you can hand tack that stitch after you're done to secure it down where the stitch was skipped. So if you see any loose bits, that's just a bit of the canvas there. Put your clips on, going all the way around, just to keep that exterior and interior seam nice and neat. All the way around. Then I'm going to head over to the machine. I'm going to sew around the entire top of the bag. Then this part will be done. Then it will just be a matter of attaching the hardware to the strap, and I'll be all finished. What I like to do now is pull my threads through to the back. Sometimes if you just tug on it a little bit, you can get the front thread to pull through. Sometimes, depending on how it's sewn through the other stitches, you might need to use a needle. Pull it through, pull everything nice and tight. Then I will knot that. Then I will take a needle and thread it back through and back out the top seam just to secure those ends. And there we have it. The top stitching is all done. So now that the sewing of the bag is done, the last thing that we need to do is put our hardware on our strap. I like to start with the adjustable slider end and just slide that on, tuck it through like so. Then you can either put a couple of rivets, you can sew here on your machine, you can do both. This is not a very heavy bag. I'm just going to put 2 rivets here and here, and then I will attach the lobster clasp there. Ooh, whoops, sorry. So I'm just going to clip this here so that I can just demonstrate to you what that's going to look like. So after I've riveted there, or sewn if you're doing it that way, slide on your lobster hook, then slide it back through, around. This is the free end, and then you would take your other one, pop it on this end, fold it up, and then the same way, either sewing or using rivets or both, and that will secure your strap. So I like to start with this knot fed through. Just makes it a little bit easier to get in there to do that. Then feed it through and attach the second one. Not forgetting, of course, to put this one on. So I'm going to go and do that, and then I'll show you my finished strap. And there we have it. So we have our finished bag, our completed strap. Then we just need to pop it on. And we are good to go. Something that you might want to do is just go around the edge of your exterior and just roll that seam out a little bit, just to make it look a little bit sharper. If your material is creased from construction and from birthing the bag, you can go over it with a steam press or very carefully with an iron. If you've used vinyl, make sure that you're very careful that you don't accidentally melt any of that. And then be sure to grab a picture of your finished bag and pop it in the album for the sew-along, and hopefully you win the sew-along prize. That'll just be randomly drawn at the end of the event. Thank you, everybody. Oh, just quickly though, if you haven't put your turn lock in, install your turn lock so that you can close your bag up. But if you did the magnetic snap, then you're all done. And you have yourself a super cute crossbody bag. Okay. Thanks, everyone. I hope you enjoyed sewing along with me, and I look forward to doing another one of these again in the future. Okay, bye.